Okay, welcome back out the garage. A couple of days later, only because we've got a new dog, and I've been playing around making the yard escape proof. Plus, there's only a puppy, so I just need to help settle him in and make sure he doesn't shit and piss through the house and chew everything to pieces. So, but he's settled down a lot. So today I'm going to start with this. So I'm going to get some Allen keys and undo that. What I'm going to try and do is make a mount that bolts into that. Utilise those, and I might have to drill another one underneath. Not that it's going to try and lift, but I'll get that off and we'll have a look under there. Right, straight up I can see a problem, because this has got to slide back, but it's got a locating pin. So I'll see how much movement we've got in that lead screw. I'll move the bed all the way up, we'll see. Let's try and undo it first. Too big. Oh Jesus, they're not real tight. Not real tight at all. There we go. Look at that. Easy as. Now what I'm going to utilise here is I'm going to make a collar for this, so when I bolt this on it'll slide over, and I'll just grind a flat and put a grub screw in it. So I'm going to use a metric bolt. Let's go down and have a look here. Move you down. Kick some shit out of the road. Now I know this is a metric thread. Let me just spin you around so I can see what I'm recording. It's better. Just let me take this out first, because I need to pack this. No, it's not those little ones. You have a look. Must be some of these. It's got to have something there to pack this out. They're too big. I think what might be happening is I will have to make something. Yeah, they're way too big. I'm going to have to machine a spacer to go, a collar to go in there, and turn that sideways. Put that there so I don't drop it on the floor. To go in there, just a collar the same size as that, so it sits up against that needle bearing to stop it getting this floating. So it's going to have to be packed out to about there. Let me ponder. I can still use the lathe the way it is. Just hang on a sec. Righto, as luck would have it, I found this washer that fits nicely over here. But I need it the same size as this. So it'll go in and sit up against that bearing there, because this has got to turn. I can't put this and sit it up against there. Well, I probably could actually, because when it's feeding, it's going to try and force the worm drive, the pinion gear backwards, so it's going to be pushing. Now I need to come up with something else, because I had thought what I could do is I could find a socket. I've got miles and miles of old sockets that fit on there. Just tack it on and stick it in the lathe and machine the outside off. That's easy. But I need to think about it, because even if it goes in there, it's still going to sit hard up against the outside of that bearing race in there. I don't know if you can see it. Let me zoom you in. Oh, wrong way. Come on. Play the game. There we go. Up against that race in there. So that's going to cause more problems as well. So I'm going to come up with another plan. I'm just not sure what that plan's going to be, because I need to bring it forward, but spin that around so you can see. There's no key on that, so it's going to be easy to work without the key for now. See, that's in as far as it'll go, and it misses the gear. Now it's on the gear. You see my conundrum? And look, I'm happy. I've got my Pepsi Max with a dash of lemon juice. Very good. Although, either way, that's still going to be wanting to sit up against that bearing, isn't it? I can fix that quite easily by just skimming a bit off that. That's going to be easy to hold. Just take that off. That's for, obviously for part of the, when it goes on the mill. I don't really need that on there. The only thing I need is that nut which holds that down. Now let me see if I put that all the way on. Oh yeah, still got a little bit left there to hold it. I think that might work. People, like I said, I can't really fuck anything. If I take too much off that, I'll pack it. I've got spaces there to pack it. But these ones will fit. Yeah, they fit. Those little ones there. So that'll work. I think that might work easier, because there'll be not a whole lot of stress either way. And if I grease that up, I'm going to put that collar on. That'll help keep dirt out. Well, not fully, but it'll keep most of it out. I'll have to come up with something else for that. I might even get a bit of rubber and put a rubber seal, make a rubber seal and bolt it underneath this. Because that's where that screws on in 3 places, and I've only got 2 places left to bolt to mount it. Well, actually no, I can use that, because I can put get bolts to go right through there. So I might go and put this in the lathe and skim a that's going to probably take more than I can afford to take off there, isn't it? I might just knock that off completely. That little copper, that little brass step there, I might knock that off completely and see how we go. I don't think it'll be too much. It might actually be not quite enough. If that being the case, then I can just put it back in and machine a fraction out. Or if it's too much, then I have these to put on. Stay with me. Righto, this is what we've come up with. So I've machined that spigot down and counterbored that just a touch to fit over that shaft. And as I thought I might have, I've went probably just 10 thou too deep on that one. Sorry, 0.2 of a mil. But what I done was one of these washers, I just used the Dremel, just took the inside out a little. So I've put that on there. Put that spacer on and put this on, without the key at the moment, but that turns fine, and there's no backwards and forwards play. Look at that, no backwards and forwards play. Let me screw this on just to be sure. Look at that. Maybe just a little, might even settle in. I can still do another one. I might do one more because they're not very thin. They're only, I haven't measured them, but they'd only be sort of 0.1 per shim. So I might do another one to fit on there. That's just binding a little bit. So I did it, countersunk a little bit, and it wasn't quite far enough. So I took a little bit more, and it was a bit too much. So, and that sits nicely up against that bearing. It'll stop it from sliding backwards and forwards. So, I'll take another one. Like I said, they're just a fraction. See, they fit, they're designed to go over this, but they won't go over this. This is what I need to go over. Just that little front bit. So, I'll go and do this one, and then we'll come back and have another look at it, eh? Righto, that's all done. It's on. I'm just going to find a way to lock this so it doesn't move, but I've plugged it all in, as you can see. And okay. Bump it off. Sounds a little bit clacky because I've washed all the grease out of the gears. It's had brass through it everywhere, so. But that's, you'd be doing well to stop those. So this will give me the luxury of when I'm machining. As I said, when I'm machining cross, I can do that. And I want to finish facing, when I machine longitude, I can do that. And it's a little bit more noise too because it's not enclosed. Usually it's all fully enclosed. And then turn it off. Very good. I'm happy with that. That clunking is just the gears engaging. So there we go. Now what I'm going to do, because I don't have anything that fits in here, so I'm going to run into town and see if I can find myself a bolt, a large bolt that'll screw in there, and it's be metric, and that way I can cut the bolt off, drill out the end of it to fit over that shaft. So the dodgiest part of this is going to be making the bracket for it. And you know what, I don't even need that on there. I can just screw straight onto this. So I'll work out what they are. That's not them. I've got screws for it somewhere. There they are. No. Where are the bloody screw holes? Looks like I'll be tapping them. That's okay. That is, well, that's good, because that gives me more options to secure this properly. So I'm going to measure these, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill and tap, say, those 4 holes to bolt onto the mount when I mount it onto the lathe. So that's going to work nicely. Or, I don't know if it's, I don't think it's, pull it apart, take the key out, I don't lose it. Oh yeah, the holes go straight through the back. I can just put bolts in there. I just put bolts through. I don't need to tap it because there's a mile of clearance between that gear face and inside here. Oh, it's a bit hard to. I don't want to knock. I'm going to knock stuff everywhere. So yeah, so that's going to work well. So I'm going to get myself some 10mm bolts, some nuts, and something to fit into this. So stay tuned, and I'll bring you back when I've come back from town. Okay, I'm back. Been into town, got a bolt. Oddly enough, that is 3/4 UNF, and it fits into that one perfectly. Look at that. So I'm assuming, and like I said, I've forgotten more than I ever knew about threads, but UNF must be the same as metric, because I'm certain this would be metric. It's Chinese, so, and that screws all the way in nicely. So once I Loctite that in, that ain't going nowhere, buddy. And what I'll do is I'm going to cut this off, machine it down a little bit to slide that on, and then I'm going to weld it and then stick it in the lathe and drill it out. It doesn't quite fit on the end there, which is good, so I can take that thread out. So that'll go down there somewhere, like that, pretty much. So yeah, that's gonna be good. Come on, in you go. I mean, it'll stick out a little bit, but that won't matter. I won't even have to cut it down on the thread. But that's fine. Turn it down, put that in. Even though, well, it doesn't matter even if it's a bit longer, because I can just make the mount for this to stick out. Well, that'll work better. It'll stick out past the end of the lathe. So, and that goes down. Well, that goes down that far. So even if I cut that off with just enough to spigot into that, if you can see that, let me turn that sideways. So I cut it off about there. Turn little spigot so that'll slide on, and then weld it. So that'll get it pretty true. But then I can even true it up even better by sticking it in the lathe, and you know, when I do the, you can see that bolt. It's got a little, just a tiny bit of running out, but that won't matter. A little bit of running out, it's not gonna, a couple of thou running out, it's not gonna matter. So let me cut this off, and I'll go and put it in the lathe, and then we'll go and have a look, eh? All right, rookie mistake. I thought I started recording, but all I did was turn the camera on, didn't record. So, but that's what we've got. I've welded it on. It's running fairly true, and as it turns out, I've got a 16mm drill bit right there. That is 16mm. So I'm just going to drill that and see how it fits. Then we're well on our way. Just hold on for 2 seconds, and I'll throw you in the stand. Right. I'll try and keep my dog's body out of the picture as much as possible. bloody thing's playing up again. Right, what are we going to do? We won't go too fast because I don't want the drill to wander. I don't know if you can see. That's wobbling a little bit as it is, so... Yeah, no, I don't like that. Hold on 2 seconds, I'll put the boring bar in. Oh yeah. Let me take you out of here. Turn this back around so I can see. There we go. A tiny little bit of play, but that's fine. I can live with that. Because I'm going to put a flat on the screw and I put 2 grub screws in here. Actually, I might even bore that down just a little bit deeper so I'll go all the way on. Only needs a little bit more. Stay tuned. Righto, there we go. Machined out, I've drilled it and tapped it. Put my little flat on there. It goes on fine. Just got it tapped on. That's almost size for size. So what I'm going to do is tap it to get the rest of the way on when it's ready to go on. It's not much to it really. That'll get that on there, so they'll be ready to lock down. So when I come out, I'm going to go and have some lunch now. And when I come out, I'm going to start looking at making the mount for the motor. Stay tuned. Righto, I've got that drilled and bolted on. That's just an offcut or just laying in my saw. So what I'm going to do now is measure from there down to see how far I need the bracket to come. And then from there out to the centre, which is 30mm. Oops, sorry, put you on there, 30mm, to make the piece that comes out here. So what I'll do is I'll sit it all up, clamp it on there, just mark it, then I'll take it down and tack it, put it back on, and if it all fits, then I'll weld it up. So that's 30mm, if I go 30mm from the centre. So the plate will come down about here. So probably have to bolt it. Might just bolt it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I'm using that 10mm plate, so it's not going to go anywhere, is it? And that's got to go back. So if I add 10mm to that, that's 90, so I take 10mm off that. So we've got about 80mm back. Let me go up here and have a look. So we'll come to about here. About there, so that's not bad. So what I'm going to do now is find another piece of plate somewhere. There's that, or hang on. What we have here. I have little offcuts laying around everywhere in this place. There we go. There's our next piece. So I can use that. Once I've marked everything out, cut it out, and then I'll just trim the outside off to what I need it to be. So bear with me, and I'll bring you back in a second. Okay, I've done a bit off camera. I sort of got in the moment and just kept going. So what we have now of that, I've bored that out, and that's it's a reasonable tight fit. So all I'm going to do now is mark it there and weld it. I'm just going to weld down the back and put a tack on in the middle here. I managed to get 4 bolts all around, so that's an added bonus. So what I'm going to do is I should be able to take that off, weld it on, and then put it back, bolt it back in, put the grub screws back in, and then mount the power, which I will do there. I'll just get me little carbide bit and put a couple of roll plugs in the brick. Unknown caller, hang on. Yeah, friggin' scammer. Dear customer, there has been a request for 900 Australian dollars on your Visa card. Get fucked. Do they think I'm stupid? They'll end up going to some Indian bloody call centre of some bastard trying to get me to give him bank details so they can get stuffed. I'm only half as stupid as I look, so. But yeah, I'm going to mark that now and then we'll go down and tack it. Weld it up, put it on. And look, that fits bloody beautiful too. Look at that. Just fits underneath the tray there. So I think I fluked that one. That wasn't by design. Let me tell you. I'd like to claim it as how I designed it, but that's just luck because that piece I haven't touched the length. I just drilled the 2 holes to bolt it on and allowed for the 10 mil, and that fits bloody beautiful. I'm keen as hell now. I reckon that's gonna work great. It's gonna work great. Anyway, let me mark this and then I'll take it off and go down and drill some holes. Drill some holes. Idiot, I've drilled the holes. Get down and we'll tack it up. Righto. Got that welded on. So what I'm going to do now is bolt it on and just mark it because I think it needs to... Oh, you know, it's bugger all really, isn't it? I might just leave that as is. I might go and just give it a hit on the linisher, clean it all up, and then we'll go down and bolt it on, eh? Righto, I've jumped ahead a bit, but there it is. It's all fitted, nice and secure. I've tightened that screw in there fairly tight and Loctited it, and the same with that. It's not tight, but I've Loctited it so it doesn't move. So I haven't even tested this yet. So let's turn it on. Let's wind all this crap out of the road. Got tools everywhere here. Let me get that out of the road. Right, now. Right. Knew I forgot to do something. Just trying to run the lathe as well.